Better. What's going on, everybody? I didn't get to go live after the episode last week, nor did I get to talk about the episode. I didn't get to live tweet. So yeah, what's going on? Has everybody watched Love and Marriage DC? Episode 5 was interesting, Janelle. Sis, like, listen here. Okay, so y'all are watching. Yes, it was a lot. I'm about to go watch. You know what? I need to actually rewatch it because when I did watch episode 5, it was on the plane heading out to LA. It's on OWN Network. And I had to watch 6 episodes because we have to watch all of the episodes before Reunion airs. So I really don't even remember everything that happened in that particular episode just because I was like watching them back to back. I binged it. The 2 girls did gang up on Winter. I love the show. Hello, gorgeous. I don't think they ganged up on her. So what y'all have to understand is this. I was away, and while I was in Tanzania, the ladies went out for lunch. However, their lunch ended, it was on a good note. When I came back and I heard, when I came back and then I had lunch with Winter, she gave me her version of what happened at their lunch. Based on what I was told by her was not actually what all happened at the lunch. So I got a totally different take on the lunch. And by me not knowing the full story, because, you know, I wasn't there, as I'm talking to Raina and Ashley about everything that went down, I was completely wrong based on what they were telling me, because they were like, we had resolution at the end of our lunch. Our lunch ended fine and we were good. So I was like, okay, that wasn't what I was told. And based off of my conversation with Winter, I thought that the lunch was like super combative when she said, you know, if you're going to be talking about my business and I'm going to be talking about yours, this, that, and the other, rumors, this, that, and the other. So I'm like, what? It went down like that? Like, that's crazy. So what you didn't see at the end of the lunch that I had with Winter, I told her that, you know, if I had a moment with Ashley and Arena at Ashley's event, I'll pull them to the side and try to, you know, see if we can solve this. I was like, clearly this has to be a misunderstanding. And Winter didn't know if she was still invited to Ashley's event. So at that lunch, I texted Ashley and I said, hey, is it okay if Winter still comes? You know, I heard y'all had lunch. Is it okay if she still comes? Ashley said, oh yeah, I don't have her information. So if you can, go ahead and send her the flyer and let her know to come. So I didn't just bring Winter to Ashley's event. She was actually invited there. I didn't just start talking about, you know, what happened at me and Winter's lunch without Winter knowing, because I literally told her that I would do that if time permitted, you know? So yeah, so that's what all went down. So the lunch as I had it was that it was so bad that it left off to a point where Winter didn't even know if she was still invited to come to the event. So if you're me coming in and not knowing what happened at the previous lunch, I'm like, shoot, I got to fix this. I got to get these girls back together, because clearly we don't want to be getting into the point where we're going in on each other's husbands and in each other's marriages, because that's not what we're here for. So when I went back, it was genuine, like, let's figure this out. You know, like, I heard that y'all ambushed Winter, and right out the gate, they're like, what? No, he didn't. What are you talking about? So it was just insane. And it's not even until now, watching the episode, that I finally was able to get some type of resolution with what actually happened at their lunch versus what happened at and what I was told at my lunch. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. Man, there was so much that happened, even at Ashley's event, that I felt like if it were shown, it would have casted a better light as to what all had went down. I hate you use the word ambushed. I use that word ambush because that is what Winter told me. And as you saw, even in the scene with Ashley and Arena, as soon as Winter came in, she said, yeah, I was ambushed. So that term didn't come from me. That is what was told to me. Everything that I said in that moment, whether y'all saw it air at me and Winter's lunch or not, everything that I said was what was told to me verbatim. Now, mind you, mind you, when I got back from Africa, when we got back from Tanzania, we landed around like 6 in the evening on I think it was a Thursday. That next morning, I was filming. I got an email because I woke up at around like midnight because we went to bed. As soon as we got home, I went to sleep. I woke up around midnight and just so happened to check my phone. And I see an email from production saying you're going to be filming at 11 a.m. in D.C. at Swahili Village. And I'm like, wait, what? First of all, just came back from my trip. Did not expect to be filming like literally hours later. My hair needed to be redone and everything. I had to get up out my bed, retwist my hair at around 1 in the morning, and basically figure out what I'm going to wear so that I can film in a few hours. And that's what I did. So when I show up, I'm being told all of this stuff. Then the next day, we're at Ashley's event. Still haven't talked to any of the ladies. I'm basically like, maybe I did at the end of it, you know, when the whole big blow up happened. I was like, well, maybe I did recall some things incorrectly because I was like literally jet lagged in a mug. So maybe it was me. Maybe I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe I didn't tell the story right. But after I watched everything, I'm like, no, I was told the story incorrectly. Yeah, so somebody said it looked messy, but apparently we missed some dialogue. Yeah, and I missed a lot of dialogue myself. I'm talking about Love and Marriage DC. Comes on OWN on Saturdays at 9 p.m. I wish you and Chris would have did this show when y'all were in a better spot. You seem very unhappy with Chris, and he seems miserable too. Yeah, I mean, I wish as well, but if you're feeling a reality show, and it just so happens at that moment, we signed our contracts way before we started filming. So what am I supposed to do? Be fake, and then y'all be like, oh, look at her trying to act like her marriage is perfect. No, y'all gonna get the real. And at the end of the day, it is entertainment. So just keep in mind that when you see our arguments and our disagreements, y'all aren't seeing how it started out. Y'all are only seeing how it ended. So it ended on a high heated note with me concluding, doing a bunch of talking. So y'all are only getting like the most heated portion of your argument. It's like you walked in on somebody's conversation without all the context, and then you're like, wait, what's going on? So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't regret it, not one bit, because at the end of the day, it's not only helped my marriage because Chris and I were able to talk things out. It's helping other people's marriages. You know, it's helping me recognize my delivery, and it's helping me to see what improvements I can make personally. And it's helping my husband to see some of the things that I've been complaining about for years so that he can work on those things. And now he even sees that it's important to me, you know. So it helped all the way around. So, yeah. I seen it from beginning to end. You were not wrong. I'm sorry. She's a troublemaker. There are a few Love and Marriages. Is it DC or Huntsville? So the one I'm on is Huntsville. I mean, the one I'm on is DC. Huntsville is the original. I felt like Ashley and Winter have chips on their shoulders. I feel like when it comes to Ashley and Winter, they just do not mesh. They don't mesh. I mean, that's very clear and apparent. But I will say that, like, how can I put it? When you don't know a person, as we all are getting to know each other, you don't know what triggers a person. So, for instance, when we were at the vegan dinner, when Winter was talking about everything that happened with Kevin, with her husband, soon to be ex-husband, she told it in such a way where I even didn't realize that she was still emotionally dealing with the aftermath of, her finding these things out. Winter's the type of person, she's very strong. So when she's telling her story of her life, you don't receive it like she's actively going through it. You receive it like this is the aftermath and I'm recalling a story of something that I went through. So a lot of us, even at that dinner table, we took lightly what she was telling us. We all were laughing, including Winter. We all were joking, including Winter. So you don't take the story as if like this is some trauma that I'm living right now currently have some sensitivity. You don't initially take it that way. On Ashley's end, Ashley, for those who don't know about her, Ashley is a blogger. She's a writer. She is a person who does interviews. She has a podcast. She's a podcaster. She has her own platform, Fun Time Moms. So when it comes down to journalism and asking questions and getting the story out, that's who she is. So Ashley is going to ask the questions that everybody wants to know. You know what I'm saying? So when you mix those two types of situations together, for some people, they're going to be triggered and sensitive, while others, it's just like, no, but she was asking valid questions. Maybe it was her delivery that wasn't, people didn't like, whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody was actually wrong. It was just that we didn't know more about the backgrounds of each other in those different moments, Y'all, this is Janelle. She said, y'all, if Monique said, yeah, Winter told me that you guys talked it out and she didn't like your delivery, but you apologized and you guys toasted the friendship, nobody would be mad. The issue is Winter. Very valid, because I was never told that there was resolution. So I'm thinking something explosive happened. I know these ladies, and I'm the one that is in the center of these ladies. I need to fix it. I need to put my peacemaking skills on and try to get down to the bottom of it. I was never told that they talked it out. I was only told that there was insult upon insult being thrown back and forth. And then I was told that I don't know if I'm still invited to Ashley's event. So I'm like, whoa, this must have been like really bad. And of course, I'm not going to bring somebody into somebody else's space or event without making sure everything's cool. So immediately I'm texting Ashley like, hey, is it still cool for her to come? And she's like, yeah. So then that already was just like, okay, that's interesting. But I just kept it pushing. So yes, there are a lot of sides to the story. I was definitely acting off of what I was told. Winter was trying to have you on her side. I definitely believe that there were sides here. And me, I'm a middle person. I'm literally the middle person. I am a Libra. I am balanced when it comes to scales. I'm the middle child in my family. I'm literally the definition of Moni in the middle. Like literally. So I'm never going to just jump all the way on somebody's side on the left or all the way on somebody's side on the right. And as I told you all from the very beginning, the one thing that I love about this show is that y'all are witnessing all of us get to know each other. All of us. So I've known Ashley for some years. It's been probably, I met Ashley in 2019. So I've known her for a couple years. I met Raina on social media around the same time. Maybe a little, it was definitely after. I met Winter. Let me go back. I met Tasha, and I've been knowing Tasha for, about 6 years now. And even though Winter and I have known each other for about 14, 15, 16 years, the only person on this show outside of my husband that can actually say that we have a active, friendly relationship is Tasha. She's the only person that's been to my house over and over again. She's the only person whose kids I have a relationship with. We've actually spent time together. We go fishing. We do stuff together as family units. Tasha and Neil are the only people on this show that could actually say, yes, we know the Samuels. We've been around them. We've witnessed them. And we actually are active friends. Now, when it comes to Raina and Ashley, and I've been very open about this, I slid into Raina's DMs like, who are you? I need to know you. She seemed like a really cool fly chick. Ashley, we met while filming RHOP and hit it off right away. Did each other's podcasts, and that's how we knew each other. So we all have known each other socially. People always look at the amount of time you've known a person, and they think that because you've known a person or been familiar with that person for a long time, that you automatically must hang out. The first and only time I've ever been to lunch one-on-one with Winter was that scene at Swahili Village. When we knew each other from the NFL wife world, we had NFL wife luncheons. We've had, but it was never anything one-on-one. Like, we've never sat on the phone and just been like, girl, what's going on? This, that, and the other. It was always me reaching out to Winter like, hey, I'm doing this for the podcast. Can you come on? Or I reach out to Winter and I told her about the show. I reach out to Winter and say, hey, how's your kids doing? How's everything going? You know, I'm doing some stuff with Not for Lazy Moms. Do you think you could be a contributor for that? So it was always like on some girl empowerment type stuff. It was always about just like, you know, like what's going on our platforms. And once her and Kevin got married, it was like, congratulations. I know Kevin. I've known Kevin since before I knew Winter. So it was always like that. So when people were just like, you know, oh, but y'all were having a conversation as friends, this and the other. I've never had a conversation with Winter that involved telling stories about other people. We've never had that type of relationship or friendship. So if she's telling me a story, I'm taking it verbatim, how she's delivering it to me, because I've never known her to be a person outside of what I know. And I maintained that the entire time that we were filming, is that I know that you ladies are having y'all's experience with Winter, but I don't know her to be that person. I only know her in this space. And this space is on platform empowerment and things of that nature. So yes, I see y'all got a lot of miscommunication was a big thing. The show highlights that not everybody's perfect. Absolutely. And that is the thing, is that when it comes to whether it's relationships or friendships, communication is key. And although we try our best to communicate, it's not always perfect. And there's always a breakdown of communication. And it's just the point of, okay, can we get back on track? We see you being nitpicky and unlikable. So when it comes to my husband, first of all, there's a difference between expressing yourself and things that you need or want in your marriage and being nitpicky. Nothing I do is nitpicking. So let's just be clear about that. Nitpicking is, my husband, he's in charge of dishes. He does the dishes. He loads the dishwasher. I don't even bat an eye at the dish, because that's his lane. We have roles in our house that, like, my role is this, his role is that, you know? Nitpicky is if I'm watching him load the dishwasher and I'm like, well, why are you loading it like that? What? Turn the bowl this way. Turn it. You ain't doing it right. And that ain't even my job in our house. That's nitpicky. Me expressing something that I need from my husband, which I've been having the same discussions with him for the past decade, is not nitpicking. It's me being adamant about what it is that I need from my husband in my marriage. The same way that he can be adamant to me about what he needs in our marriage from me. So what you all are seeing is, you're only seeing one side of the story, and you're seeing the most heated moments of our argument. So at the end of the day, I don't really care what y'all say. Y'all can say whatever y'all want, because I know what happens in my household. I know how my husband and I talk to each other. I know what we need to work on. So the things that I was pointing out to him were very serious issues. And you can't just brush off what I'm saying by saying, I'm sorry, I'm going to work on it, I'm going to do better. Because I've heard that before, clearly. So you'll see as we navigate through this, as the show progresses and everything else. But at the end of the day, we're opening up our world to you. Y'all have seen the perfect side of Chris and I. Perfect is not even perfect, but y'all have seen versions of Chris and I in a space where things weren't so crazy. And now you're seeing another side. Just because you're seeing a side of Chris and I that is tense does not mean that we want out of our marriage. If I did not want to be in my marriage, guess what? I wouldn't be in my marriage anymore. Point blank, period. If I did not want my marriage, do you really think I'm going to go into another reality show that's about love and marriage if I don't want to be married? I don't know on what planet that makes sense to any of y'all, but the planet I live on, it don't make sense, like, at all. Exactly. So yeah, so that's the whole point, is that if I'm being this open about what it is that I feel as though, my husband isn't hearing from me, I know that there are other people out there, whether you are the husband in a marriage or the wife in a marriage. I know there are people out there who have had times in their marriage where they feel like their spouse is dismissing them, where they feel like they are unheard, where they're feeling like their role in the marriage isn't being valued. So that's what you're witnessing on the show. And you're able to watch how we navigate this very difficult moment in our life. So some people get that 7-year itch. We got the 10-year itch. And it wasn't fun, but we both were willing to do the work that's required for us to move along the way. But as I watch the show and I see the clips that are being shown, I don't get mad at y'all's commentary because I get it. Me watching it, for me, I know what happened on the other side. I know the build up to the conversations, and I know how we were able to resolve them at the end. But me watching it, I'm like, ugh, that's a lot. Shoot, calm down, stop talking. I'm with y'all on that. Trust. Exactly. Somebody said the way people are acting like arguments, no matter how small or dumb, happen in marriages. It doesn't negate the love that y'all have for each other. Exactly. I don't love my husband any less.
You better love me.
What's up, baby?
But Harpo beat you.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm out of here to the school.
Okay, baby. Have fun. So, he's so funny. So, yeah. So, it's just like, you get through these moments in life. And that's what I was wanting to know from the Tylers. I'm like, yo, y'all been married a long time. I know y'all probably been in a position where Chris and I are. You know, how do you get out of it? Or even if you can't tell me how, just knowing that you did get past it and you did get out of it is like, music to my ears is what I need to hear. Ashley makes good reality TV, whether she's likable or not. First of all, Ashley is very likable, and she makes darn good reality TV. And let me tell you, Winter is very likable, and she makes darn good reality TV. So people can say whatever they want. At the end of the day, they are delivering. They understood the assignment and they are delivering, and it's not even intentional. It's just them being who they are. So I don't like that people are thinking that Ashley's a mean girl just because she's asking questions. She's asking the same questions that I asked. She's asking the same questions that you all even asked as y'all are watching the scenes go down. So she's very direct. Winter is a very sweet person. Like, she's very sweet. She's very much about, like, you can get through it. I got through it. Look what I went through. She's opening up her story and she's sharing it with the world. Everybody on this show has amazing qualities, and that's why they're on the show. But Ashley is reality TV gold because I always say, you know, your reality TV gold when you are a viewer at home watching, and then that person that's on the show says exactly out loud what you are thinking, what you're screaming at the TV, that person is saying it. That's reality TV gold. Winter is going through a divorce and y'all basically blamed her and trashed her. First of all, nobody blamed her and nobody trashed her. And don't say y'all, because I've been very supportive of each person on this whole cast. So don't say y'all. Be very specific if you're going to talk or type. Nobody's blaming her. It's because of the fact that she said she was a relationship coach. That's why the questions came a little bit more intense, because they're like, if you're a relationship coach and you went through whatever your first marriage and now you're going through this, your second marriage, what accountability are you taking in choosing the persons that you are marrying? That was what the underlying tone was when they were asking those questions. So whether y'all grabbed that or grasped that or not, I don't know. But that's what the underlying tone was. So it wasn't that we were blaming her or trashing her. Like, nobody on here is trying to trash anybody. Not right now, anyway. So yeah, so I just wanted to clear that up. Make sure my snake is still in his hole. Okay. If y'all just joined, listen before you comment, please. Ashley's funny, tells it like it is. Yes, she is. First of all, Ashley needs to do stand-up. She's freaking hilarious. I don't care what y'all say. She is hilarious. Okay. Did you cuss or bring a binder to the reunion, friend? No, I didn't have to, because I didn't. The binder, look, that was something that had to happen because it was so many lies being told that I was like, look, if I'm going to come with something, I'm going to have all facts printed out, provable facts that you can't deny, ready and willing. Nobody came at me like that. And the only person that I really had things to clear up with at the reunion was myself, my husband, and a few things between Winter and Ashley. Somebody said Winter is making jokes and airing her business. Should be more mindful. Some people are going to be more curious. Somebody said something about Winter not being over the dinner. Yeah, I definitely felt that was the case. Was that there were triggers that were had. Look at my veins popping out. Whenever I get hot, my veins just be like popping out like I'm a darn bodybuilder. Yeah, I definitely felt like there were triggers, there were buttons that were pushed at the vegan dinner. But instead of just, well, no, they did address that. Winter did address it and say that she didn't like the delivery, and actually apologized for her delivery, but not for her questions. And Winter didn't have a problem with the questions. She said it was the delivery. So after the lunch was over, you would have thought that would have been done and over with, and that was it. You need to pick a side, Monique. You're grown. Laugh my A off. Listen, I'm not picking a side. At the end of the day, I can be friends with everybody. You know, I don't think that, I think that's what, to me, that's immature. When you got to feel like you got to pick a side. You shouldn't have to. You should be able to talk to your friend, and you should be able to call them out, and they should be able to be accountable, and you should be able to hold your friend accountable, and you should be able to do the same thing for the other side. If you see something wrong, you should be able to say, hey, here's what I feel you did, blah, 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 blah. I don't want friends that are just going to pick a side and, you know, not hold me accountable. I want friends that can basically confront me, confirm me, celebrate me, all of those good things. So yeah, it is what it is. Is the drama in the marriage real, or is it for the show? No, it's not for no show. It's real. Like, listen, me and my husband was going through a whole season, like, of real marriage stuff. And still, that's what marriage is. It's like always something. It's always changing. It's always growing. It's always your needs changing, you know. And you're trying to learn each other and grow with each other. That right there sums up what makes marriage difficult. What makes marriage difficult is the fact that you are trying to grow together, and you don't always grow at the same rate. So that's what makes it difficult, is because I might be seeing things one way, but maybe my spouse hasn't had the same experience, so that he can then see things where I am seeing them from at that moment in time. And it's just a back and forth, you know. You will help others navigate through their marriage. Yeah, and at the end of the day, you know what it is? I don't mind the fact that there's so much contention being shown in my marriage in these episodes, because guess what? A lot of times we don't get to see people's process. We only get to see people when they post their cute pictures on social media after they already went through it and made up. And you don't see the how, the why, the when. You just see, wow, they got through it. And you don't see like what they went through and then how they got through it. And then when you get into a relationship, you're looking at all these social media relationships and you're like, oh, but they make it look so easy. Oh, look how happy they are. Oh, look at those pictures. Oh, look how he surprised her with this or that or the other. And you ain't even know that like 5 seconds ago, they just had the worst argument of their entire marriage. So now here you are in your relationship, and you get faced with a difficult moment, and you're thinking, this must not be meant to be, because I've not seen anybody else go through anything like this before. So maybe we just aren't right for each other. But maybe actually in reality, y'all are perfect for each other. Y'all are just having a moment that needs work in order to get out of it. Hey, Chasey Poopa. So yeah, you're really messy sometimes. All you reality TV women aren't true friends to each other. First of all, we already told y'all in the beginning of this show that we weren't friends. We literally said the thing that we love about the show is that we're not out here trying to act like we're besties. We're learning each other. All of us are. We literally said that. So no, all of us reality TV women aren't nothing. This show ain't like other shows. So it is what it is. So yeah, and it's not about being messy. And you know what's funny? As you'll see, it's rare in this show that the mess is intentional. You'll see it here and there. But it's rare because most of the drama that we're experiencing, whether it's in our relationship or whether it's in the friendships that are trying to manifest, it's miscommunication, it's triggers that weren't dealt with, or things that like grudges that were held on to that is actually causing the drama. Was it hard to see yourself on camera? How do you avoid picking yourself apart when you see yourself? No, it's not hard to see myself on camera. I'm fine with it. That's why I'm okay with doing reality TV. I don't pick myself apart. I recognize that what you all are seeing is like that much of a conversation that was that long. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really get caught up in all of that. I don't get caught up in the comments. I don't get caught up in anything. I just kind of wait and let everybody see how the season plays out. And then once you get to the reunion, you're able to address whatever else needs to be addressed. But it does, I don't know. It just doesn't affect me like that. It's actually allowed me and my husband to pinpoint some things about our personality traits. So for me, my delivery, I went back to a place. I don't want to give y'all too much because we do talk about a lot of this at the reunion. So I'm not going to give you too much. But at this point in my marriage, during that time while we were filming, which y'all are witnessing, I went back to a place that I hadn't been in probably 8-9 years. So we'll talk about that more at the reunion. So they'll definitely show that. Love the moment. Chris just needs to keep picking you up, which I'm sure he does when the camera are off. As you mentioned earlier, we only see a portion and we do not have the unedited clips. But yeah, that moment when we were in our room and I basically got to the point where I was just like done talking. It was so funny because the first thing he said was, I'm trying to talk, and she just shuts down. That was a moment where, you know how you get to a point where you're like, I've said all that I can say. I've tried to express things the best way that I can express. And one of the things that was huge for me was the fact that I felt like Chris was being very surface with me. And it's been like that for the majority of our marriage. You know what I'm saying? Before Chris and I got married, Chris would tell me like everything about how he felt, his deep rooted feelings, how he connected some of the things he's going through with his childhood and upbringing, things like that, right? But then when we got married, I don't know if it's a man thing, like because he has to be the provider and the head of the house. It was almost like he didn't want to reveal his vulnerability to me anymore because he's the man of the house. You know, I don't know. Y'all have to ask Chris. But I had gotten to a point, so when we started filming this season, I'm like, I am sick and tired of being surface. I'm sick and tired of feeling like when we talk to each other, it's like we're strangers. Like, hey, how you doing today? Oh, I'm doing fine. Hey, can you come here and do this? It was like, I'm sick of that. So at the moment when we got back from Africa, I was expecting while we were on this trip that we would have this like monumental aha moment where we could finally connect and get that vulnerability back, right? So as we're sitting there unpacking and I'm asking him, like, was there any moment in the trip where you just felt like, you know, because I was feeling deep connections the whole time we were there. And we didn't share with each other what those deep moments were. So I'm sharing with him my deep moments. And then he's just like, yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Oh, so when's your mom coming? I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't even want to talk anymore. Like, I feel like I'm talking to a stranger or a stranger is responding to me. And that was such a moment for me. I was so triggered. And instead of me yelling and getting all loud and you're not understanding and doing all that, I said, you know what? I don't want to talk anymore. Because it's not going to come out the way that I know it needs to come out. So I'm going to be wise in this moment and just shut the heck up. So that's what I did. So yeah, at that moment, that is when the producers pulled him to the side and they had their talk. I had my talk with my producer. And then when he came back into the room, I think he finally understood a portion of what it was that I was saying. And a lot of times when Chris and I are talking, especially when we're filming, it's like I'm carrying the conversation. I'm doing most of the talking and I'm trying to pull out of him conversation. And then I'm getting labeled as she's talking too much. Well, if I wasn't talking and pulling out the conversation, we would have a whole scene of us just sitting there looking at each other, you know? So that's one thing that I do love about reality TV is that it does force you to have those difficult conversations. And for me and my husband at that point in time, it's what we needed. So when I broke down and started crying, it was like I had enough. There was nothing else I could say. And I was like, he just does not get me. And this is so frustrating. So I just broke down. And then when he expressed, you know, marriage doesn't come with a handbook, this, and the other. We just need time. He has to just show me that he gets what I'm saying. And that's what we've been doing. So do you think maybe you are forcing your expectations on him? So I don't. I'm not forcing expectations on him. I'm just asking him, who are you? Tell me who you are. You know, I don't want to have expectations. And that was the thing. It's like, I'm not going to tell you what I want you to do. I'm not going to tell you who I want you to be. I want you to tell me and then let those actions follow. So that's where we were, because I wasn't like, I'm not going to make you who I want you to be. I don't want to be married to a robot. So I want to know where you are at this moment in life, you know, and be vulnerable and open with me. That's the only expectation, if I have any, that I had, was for you to be open and vulnerable with me. I love how y'all didn't give up at that moment because the resolution was good. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I think that is what makes marriage hard. People don't realize that you're constantly growing and you have to work hard to make sure the person you're growing into is compatible with your partner. Right. That's so frustrating for us women. Exactly. That moment when you started crying was heartbreaking. You definitely had enough in that moment. Yes. So it was funny to me because I was just like, you know what? When I was being very adamant and very direct about what I wanted and what I needed, a lot of the commentary from you all was like, oh, she's being disrespectful. Oh, she's belittling her husband. Oh, she's doing too much, this and the other. But then what was really funny to me was when I was in LA, so I'm not tweeting or anything. I popped onto Twitter and I saw people tweeting about the moment where I started crying. And I said, it's not funny. People only think that people only will accept you when you show tears. So it's not okay for me to just express what I need. I have to be crying so that people can get it. Isn't that interesting? So as a woman, I can only show or people can only be empathetic towards what I'm going through if I'm weak and crying. That's how I looked at it. I thought that was just very interesting. Y'all said she said he wasn't like that before marriage. Yes, no, he wasn't like that before we got married. It was more so like after the marriage. Kind of seems like you're looking for a problem. Well, it kind of seems like y'all don't know the whole story, which is why I'm telling y'all the story right now. I don't want to have an issue. Like, who does that? Maybe some of y'all are out there like that. Y'all just like to find things and reasons to be upset. But for me, I'm a person who truly deals with whatever is in front of me. And was he a quiet person when you met him? No, not at all. Chris talks more than me. Not at all. So I just felt like over the years, he was shutting down more and more, like not really expressing to me, but then would talk to other people and be more open with them. And it was getting frustrating because I'm like, yo, like, why won't you just tell me? Like, tell me, like, I'm here. Talk to me. So I'm used to having these open dialogues and conversations, and we did it more when we weren't married than when we got married. So it's the same conversations that we've been having for a very long time. We've been married 10 years. So we were coming up on our 10 years when the show was, when we were filming. So Chris and I have been together 16 years. So we dated for 4.5 years. We were engaged for 1.5 years. So total 6 years. And then married 10 years. Do you feel like y'all relationship moved so fast to where you didn't get to learn certain things about him? No. See, that's the thing. I know everything about him. Like, I know him. Like, I know certain facial expressions that he makes. I know when he responds a certain way. Like, I know him so well. I think a lot of women are like that. Like, we really, like, whoever we're with, we're like, we really know you, you know? I can pretty much know what his move is going to be before he even makes the move. Like, I know Chris, you know? So yeah. I just feel like Chris, it's different when you come from the NFL world. So a lot of what Chris goes through and what we go through in our marriage, some things you'll be able to relate to, but some things you won't unless you are married to or have dated an NFL player or a former NFL player. It is a totally different life. It really is. Or a person who's in the sports world in general, especially if you're in a sports world where this is what you've been doing your entire life. Just imagine that you're a person who, since you were 4 or 5 years old, you have been playing football. And then you become so good at it that you get a full scholarship to a college that is like an NFL team, Roll Tide, and you play there and you become one of the biggest names in that college. Like, you're a part of their history. Chris is the first Outland Trophy winner at the University of Alabama. The first. For people who don't know what an Outland Trophy is, it's basically like getting the Heisman Trophy, but for a lineman. He was the first at the University of Alabama to get that trophy in their history. Okay? He was All-Star, All-American, all of that good stuff, right? Then he gets drafted number 3 overall. He was the 3rd draft pick in the 2000 draft, right? Then you go to a team where you excel there. You make 6 Pro Bowls. You play for 10 years. So when Chris retired, he was about, 32, 33? So imagine for 33 years of your life, you have been doing one thing. You had one job. You got a big contract. And that is the only job you've ever worked in your entire life for 33 years. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden you get a career-ending injury that forces you out of your life, your livelihood, what you know yourself to be, who you've always been. Your body tells you, I can't do it no more. Not you. He didn't walk away because he wanted to. His body told him he had to. So just imagine all of that in a huge person who is like just the most humble person you'll ever meet, the most sincere personality. Just imagine, you know what I'm saying? So as his wife, that's just a small portion of who he is. And that also shapes how he is in our marriage. So it's a lot. So I'm not a person that, if I do sense that there's something going on, or if I feel like there's an issue, or if I feel like there's room for growth, I'm always going to say, hey, let's talk about it, you know? So, and we both have counseling, one-on-one and together and all that good stuff. So whose idea was it to do reality TV? Y'all are going to trip out when I tell you this answer. It was my husband's. So let's go back to RHOP. I was like, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to do reality TV. Y'all, I was so private back then. I was so private to the point where I didn't even have social media. If you go on my Instagram page right now and you scroll all the way down to my very first post on Instagram, it was at my very first all-cast scene for RHOP, which was Katie's event. I know the post because it's literally when I started my Instagram page. Because I had no choice. I had to have Instagram. I had to have social media to be a part of reality TV. You have to maintain social media. So my very first my very first post is at Katie's event. I had the black dress on. Chris had his black suit. That was my very first post. So I was like super private. Like, I would post pictures on Facebook. I only had a Facebook page, and that was because when we were getting married, we had that page to keep all of our guests abreast of what was happening and, you know, the updates as we were planning the wedding. And I kept it afterwards. And then after I had my first son, I would post pictures of him. All you saw was the back of his head, or I would put something over his face. Like, you ain't even see my child, like, at all, right? I was that private. And when a friend of mine basically told me about RHOP, I was like, I'm not interested. I don't want to do it. And then I told Chris, I laughed because when we first heard that they were coming out with a show, Chris even said, he was like, oh, you could be on that show. You could be on that show. And he was messing with me. I was like, please, I would never do that. Honest to God, I kid you not. My husband is the one that encouraged me to do reality TV. But yeah, so when it came to this reality TV show, initially, when we talked to Carlos, I was just like, no, I don't want to do another ensemble. And then after a while, we thought about it, talked to Carlos again, and he said, look, what if we built the show around you and Chris. Like, what if you send me couples that you would, think would be good for the show, and we build the show around y'all? And I thought about it. I was like, okay, maybe we can do that. So I sent him a bunch of different couples that we knew of, that we were really cool with, and I also sent him couples that we were social friends with. And then based on that, they did their casting, they did interviews, and then they chose the couples that they chose. And when we decided that we would do it together, we made the decision as a family. So me and my husband talked about it. He was fine with it. I was like, all right, if you cool with it, I'm cool with it. Let's do it. And then we talked to our children, and we even got their opinion and asked them what did they think. So it was a family decision to come back. But my husband definitely is the reason that I even did reality TV at all. Chris knows his wife is a star. Oh, thank y'all. Y'all are funny. I'm definitely not going back to RHOP. Is she here? Who's at the door? Chauncey? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, so my son is actually about to get his hair locked, y'all. My oldest is getting his hair locked. So I'm about to hop off because my loctician just got here. Thank you. Yeah, she actually did my hair like this. So you want to see the back? I don't know what the back looks like, but excuse my kitchen. I don't know if I brushed it or whatever, but yeah. So yeah, she did this for me. Little cute little ponytail. Keep it nice and up and all that good stuff. What made you want to get locks? See, now y'all about to start asking me more questions. I just told y'all I got to get off the live. I just got to a point where I was just like, I want my hair to just be who it wants to be. I love being natural. I love doing natural things. And my hair was just the next step. My hair does not want to be straight. It doesn't want to be blown out and curled. It wants to be kinky, coily. It wants to be free. And let me tell you, my hair has been growing like a weed ever since I allowed my hair to do what it wants to do. So I love it. It was the best decision I've made in regards to my hair. It's healthy. It's like, I love my locks. Let me tell y'all, I be playing, like, I feel like they're my baby. Right. I love you, beautiful people. Y'all have a great night, a great day. It's only 1 o'clock. It feels like it's late. And I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Okay?